recommendation, not passive, not just pretending that they weren't thinking about it, but the active recommendation of the employer's body was that you should receive 0% pay rise this year. Now, I know that many are arguing that trade unions should not be out and pushing the boundaries on this. It is very difficult at times to take the arguments through and say what we should be doing is opposing the Tory cuts with everything that is going through. But it seems to me that even by the standards of this Tory government and the employers that are hiding behind them, 0% for those who are actually delivering one of the most important parts of the education curriculum in this country and underpinning what is meant to be a recovery in our industry and in all of our skill sectors. That has to be the most insulting thing that I have seen in many, many years. Let's work this through. Since 2009, in real terms, you have had a cut of nigh on 17% in your pay. That's set against what's been taking place, because the reality of what they put on the table in total has been 3%. You put that up against everything that has gone up, everything that you've had to pay. That is what's been taking place. FE has been benefiting from your pay cut year on year on year on year. But even they, as I say, have never hit the heights of 0%. That, to me, tells us exactly where we are in terms of the fight that we have to have. And it tells me exactly why you are right to have taken this day to say enough is enough. It's not just about pay. It's about everything that the respect that isn't being shown to you tells us about what is happening in the sector. It's about what's happening to your students. It's about the fact that in adult learning there is a slaughter job going on which is making it impossible for many people to say that in their lives they are going to make a change in the direction of what they want to do. For many people to make a decision that says that even though I have lost my job, I have some hope that I will be able to reskill. It's about many people not even having the chance to learn the language of the country in which they live because of the cuts that are taking place. That is why we are out on strike today. Yes, it's about pay, but it's about everything that we do as a sector to deliver for so many people who deserve better and are being treated so shabbily by this government. And you should be very, very proud that that is what you are willing to do. And other unions, I would say, should learn the lesson and be out arguing and doing exactly the same thing as we are today. Our sector is actively delivering what is needed in this country. It is delivering not only people who are willing to stand up for themselves, but people who are willing to stand up for the most vulnerable in society. Think about what is happening in this country. Think about the destruction that is being talked about day on, day out. Think about the steel industry. Think about those towns that have had everything taken away from them. And then think about what the government's response is. It is not about the bill to building community education. It is not about saying what they will do is invest in the future. What they are doing, at exactly the point where we are seeing thousands of jobs go, is they are saying we will have area reviews, and the only thing that is due to happen out of that is a stripping out of further education colleges, a stripping out of sixth form colleges, further reductions in the numbers of jobs, further reductions in the number of services available for people who desperately need it because of the policies of this government. We as a union have no choice, I would argue. None. We have to say loudly and clearly we will oppose pay cuts that mean it makes it impossible for our members to do the jobs that they're paid to do. We will impose arguments on the rhetoric coming out of government that makes it impossible for them to pretend that reorganisation and restructure, as they phrase it, is anything other than cuts and and destruction in a sector that is so valued by all the communities and where you work. We have to, as a union, build and show solidarity with other unions who are doing exactly the same thing, taking on these arguments, being the opposition that we so need to see happen in the workplaces across this country. Today, when we're meeting here, across the road, the third reading of a pernicious, vindictive, nasty piece of legislation is going through Parliament. The third reading of the Trade Union Bill, designed not to reinforce us as a democratic country, showing respect for all those in the workplace and recognising that that is an absolutely integral part of any country that wants to hold its head up in a global community. Absolutely not. We are sitting here taking action on a day where in Parliament a Tory government is going to try and push through a vote to make it impossible for your voice to be heard. Not because you're not representative, not because you haven't got issues that have to be heard, but because they want to make sure that the 6 million people in this country, the largest and most democratic movement in this country, is not able to express its voice. The good news: we, along with many other unions, have worked very hard. That means you. It doesn't mean me, it means you. We've worked very hard to get some pushback on what's taking place today. Little victories are starting to happen, and it's important that we mark them. No longer are they going to make you all wear armbands on your clothes when you're on strike. No longer are they going to make it a criminal offence for you to take action on a picket line outside of their new regulations. No wonder are they going to say that we as a trade union have to report to them 2 weeks ahead of time every single action that we intend to take. Little victories, but important. And that's about people's voice being heard. That's about people standing up. What hasn't yet happened then? We have not yet won the argument against thresholds. They are still going to make that as hard as possible for us, and they're going to do that as much as they can, as quickly as they can. We have not won the argument about agency workers being brought in as scab labour, no way of dressing that up, that's what it will be. Your colleagues who you work with, who are already on worse terms and conditions, being told contractually they have to break your strike. We haven't won that yet. We haven't won Chekhov yet. There are lots of things that we have still to fight for, and the reason that I want to raise that is because whatever we are doing on pay, whatever we are doing on education, we have an underpinning solidarity that we must respect and stand alongside other unions to actually make sure that we win an argument on. And that is about the defence of the trade union movement in this country overall. That is about we as trade unionists and educationalists being able to argue our case on pay, argue our case on terms and conditions, argue our case for our sector overall, argue our case on behalf of working people of this country against a government that is intent on cutting and destroying everything we stand for. So what we must do from today is not just say that's it. Today has to be the start of a further push on area reviews, opposing them, opposing mergers unless it really is clear that's about a benefit to the community, opposing the cuts on ESOL that are still going to go through, opposing what's taking place in full-time education with a pernicious increase in academies being pushed through and free schools coming in, regardless of what parents want. But also saying, underpinning all of that, we in UCU will stand with other unions and oppose the trade union bill coming through. We will stand alongside the Labour Party and make sure that that argument is pushed forward on behalf of working people, and we will build a movement that will get rid of this government, get rid of their arguments, reinforce that we believe in a state, reinforce that we believe in a publicly funded education system, and reinforce the fact that we have the right to go to a negotiating table and be treated with respect and actually get paid for the job that we do. Solidarity to everyone in this room, and my thanks, because what you are doing is fighting back and defending a sector that really, really deserves the name that it has. The building block of this country and the building block of hope and expectation of change for every individual who has the desire to say, I want to do something different with my life. That's what FE is, and that's what you do. And you're worth a darn sight more than 0%, and that's what we will go out and argue for. Solidarity, and thank you.